Well, Jody, the last time we spoke, you explained that we had some deals imminent for contract renewals and new signings. We now, of course, know who those players were. How happy are you with the recruitment so far?
Yeah, it was as discussed previously, it was a real priority to us to maintain some continuity and some stability. So the retainments were equally as important as any new additions. Um, Obviously, I share the excitement in when you get the big ones over the line, the perceived big ones. Willie Escalante and Chinakoli, who we sort of call him a retainment, but he wasn't a retainment. He was actually a loanee that we managed to make permanent. But I think they're all as important as each other. It's easy to forget, like Matt Ward. A lot of people didn't expect us to retain Matt Ward, but because we got it done so early, kind of the excitement settles down, and then obviously Chin and Will coming in at the final hour kind of generate a lot of excitement, a lot of interest, and rightly so. Both really high performing players for us last season. So yeah, very very happy to have them on board. But I have to say we're very happy with every player that we managed to retain. Um, and then I would like to think people can see that there is a plan to our recruitment, the external recruitment we've done. There's a profile that you can see. You can see they're younger players. They're athletic, mobile, versatile players that should hopefully allow us to have smaller squad numbers but higher squad quality. So, just for example, you've got Aaron Drew and Tariq Hines can both play fullback either side. It gives you options right away. It means you don't need as much cover. And then we've got that, you know, throughout the team, really, players we've brought in. They're young, they're versatile, they're athletic. We believe that they've got resale value as well. And I think at our level, or at all levels, even at the very top, but certainly at our level, that's quite an important part of the principles of making a club functional and sustainable for the long term.
You touched upon it there, the fans in particular, in such short space of time with Will and Chin signing deals with us. We're very excited. And the question was today was, what is Jody saying to the players, and what are we trying to build here at the club to get these deals over the line?
I think the thing with Chin was the talks were, we were speaking him from day one. As soon as the season finished, made it very clear to Chin and his representatives that we were really keen to bring him to the club. We knew that, or certainly felt that it was probably a long shot because we were really delighted with his performances. And then you look at his CV; he's already been in this league with Bromley, with Sutton. He's coming out of a Championship football club. He performed really well for us, certainly for such a young player. So we were well aware there was going to be lots of interest, but the kind of angle we went down with Jim was, I just kept reiterating that it's a project here. This is what our project is. Going into detail, not detail I'm going to go into now, but going into detail and emphasising the fact that we want to play a part in his development. That we're not bringing him to Woking to play 500 games for Woking. That would be brilliant if we can go up the levels with him. Ultimately, the coaching staff we've got here, we believe, are very good. The environment we're trying to build we believe, is very good, and we believe that we'll be able to play a big part in players' Chin's profile and Chin's age, play a big part in their development. And I think in the end, I know in the end, him and his representatives brought into the project here, brought into the environment and culture we're trying to build, and brought into the idea that we care as much about Chin's development as they care about Chin's development. And then obviously with Will, didn't have to sell the club to Will. Will really likes the club here, but off the back of a great year, who can blame someone for looking at their options? And if there's options higher up the pyramid, he's got to explore them. But I'm delighted that, again, like, we weren't his last option. There was other options out there, but he chose us. He believes in the staff. He believes in the direction we're moving in as a football club, and he chose us above other clubs. So that says a lot for the direction we're trying to move in.
And on Friday, when I spoke to Neil, he touched upon potential additional recruits. So looking ahead to that, can you elaborate any further on what areas that we're looking to strengthen and what profile?
Yeah, I mean, I think Neil was pretty clear. We need front players to bring in. That's not to say we haven't got good front players, but it's an area of the pitch we want to add. They're the difference makers. When you look, we drew 19 games last year, and I don't say that solely as a negative. I mean, it shows how well organised we are. It shows how we control possession in a lot of the games. But we need to be a little bit more clinical. So we're still looking at front players. We're talking maybe to 3 different ones at the moment. We've also got one in on trial that the fans will get to see tomorrow evening. But we're well aware, but that's one of the key areas for any team that wants to be successful. But it's also the hardest position to recruit for, because everyone's trying to get players of that caliber, and those players have a big price tag, and they've got lots of suitors. So as much as we want them, they're going to be patient, and we're going to have to be patient as well. But rest assured, we're speaking to a decent caliber of player, and we're looking to bring in at least one more forward. In midfield, Dale's injury as a deep line midfielder and as one of the senior players has left a void. So that's definitely an area that we're looking at. Again, we're a long way down the line in terms of negotiations with one a good experienced player that we think will add lots to the group. But whether or not we'll get that over the line, I don't know. What we won't do as a football club is kind of get involved in auctions or start begging people to come here. They've got to buy it. There's got to be a buy-in from the player. They've got to want to be part of what we're doing here, and same as we've got to make it worth their while as well. So it's about getting that balance. Someone said to me like years ago when I was coaching lower down the pyramid, they said there's thousands and thousands of players, but there's only a handful of clubs. So we will miss out on some players, but there'll always be another one that we can go and talk to. And we're really working hard at our recruitment in terms of the lists we're producing, the data we're collating, the scouting network we're developing, the manager's knowledge, the assistant manager's knowledge, the other coaching staff's knowledge, my knowledge. So this isn't off the cuff. We've got lists. We're working through lists, and I think any player we bring to the club will have brought them here for the right reasons.
And on the pitch, we kicked off our pre-season fixtures with a victory at Met Police on Saturday. What were your thoughts on the performance?
They're tricky games. I think Met Police had already played a couple of games, so they're probably a little bit ahead of us in terms of team cohesion. You wouldn't expect them to be ahead of us in terms of fitness. We're a full-time club, but certainly in terms of being out on the pitch and a cohesive unit. And I thought they defended really well. I thought they got into a low block and made it hard for us, which is something that we will encounter at times this season. So that was good for us, and it was pleasing to see how many chances we created against pretty much 11 men behind the ball. Another day we could have scored 6 or 7. We created some really good openings. Again, we highlighted the need to be clinical. It was pleasing to see Innie come on, play the second half and be clinical, give us that lead that the possession deserved. You could already see the very early signs. I mean, the beauty of when Neil and Simon Bassey came in, they had 5 or 6 months to lay these foundations. I know it was in tough circumstances, transition and relegation fight, but you can already see that we've got a system, we've got a way of playing. You can already see combinations out on the field, and lots of that was evident on Saturday. We got into some great areas, overloads in wide areas, the triangles we create in different parts of the field and cause problems. And it's great to see. Obviously, it was a hot day. The tempo was low, 2:45s. So you're not going to get a fluent, really cohesive performance. But I thought there was lots of good signs. I thought all the new boys settled in well. And, far more positives than negatives.
And without being disrespectful to Met Police, tomorrow we welcome a very different standard of opposition in Championship side Portsmouth. How exciting is it to welcome a Championship level team to the Laithwaite, and what do you think we can expect from the game?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like role reversal, isn't it? We suddenly become Met Police now, and Portsmouth are us from the weekend. So I think we accept we're not going to have loads of the ball, although a big part of our principles are going to be to control possession. So absolutely no doubt the manager will encourage them to have the ball and to retain the ball and to control the game. But it'll be much harder against a team of that calibre. And defensively, we're going to have to be well organised. We're going to have to be willing to trap runners, work really hard. So it'll be an excellent workout for us. It's probably a little bit early, to be honest, in terms of our preparation. But, we can't turn down the opportunity of having a Championship club that's only an hour around the corner coming here to play us. So yeah, we're excited, but I think it's a great one for the supporters. I think to come in and see us against a Championship club, even within our group, I think we've got some Portsmouth supporters. I think Jack Turner's a Portsmouth fan. Obviously, Simon Bassey was at Portsmouth on the staff. Aidan O'Brien played for Portsmouth. The manager we had last year played for Portsmouth. One of our analysts is a big Portsmouth fan, so I'm sure there's a lot of Portsmouth interest. But ultimately, the most important thing is it's the next step on the ladder for us in terms of our preparation. The boys will play a little bit more minutes, and it will be a real challenge. But I think we'll hold our own. I fully expect us to hold our own, and I think it will take us into the following game really well.
And also a first chance for the supporters to see some of the improvements that we've made to the ground. How exciting is it to come in daily and see the volunteers do such a great job in improving the facilities and what we've got here at the club?
In terms of the biggest cultural change I've seen at the football club since when I started observing it from a distance in sort of August, September last year, and then when I actually came in, and then to now, is the number of people hustling and bustling around the football club on a daily basis. It was like at times, I was going to say like a morgue, but it's probably disrespectful, but there wasn't a lot of people around. There wasn't a lot of noise. Now I come in and I know the nice weather helps, but there's 10, 15, 20 people working around the club every day. And you notice all the changes popping up, some of the internal decor, some of the public areas like the main Cardinals bar, bits within the stadium that that fans will see when they come in. That I think you'll probably announce at a later date. Lots of stuff. I mean, from a footballing perspective, we've got a new physio room. It was really important. It's a much bigger space, much more appropriate. So we're delighted with that. That's going to help us. The owner invested in all the gym equipment we needed, so that was a big investment. It's going to mean club's going to have that for years and years and years. It's enabling us to work on site with the players in really important strength and conditioning areas. Again, we hope that improves us and enables us to keep a fit, a stronger squad as time goes by. There's so many good things and so many good new people coming into the club in the administrative department, in the commercial department. Obviously, we've had Robin come in as a managing director, and those of us who are around here know that he didn't just come in the other day. He's been in for quite a long time, and he's a grafter, and he's leaving his mark as well. And there's loads to be excited about. We hope the club evolves all the time. We keep evolving, but it certainly won't be the same club tomorrow night as what you saw December last season.
And finally, looking further beyond the pre-season, we've got our fixtures for the next season out last week. Kicking off here a game against Carlisle United, who the bookies fancy to be the favourites for the league. How exciting! What was your reaction when you saw those fixtures come out?
Well, I think it's a good fixture. Obviously, you're like, oh no, Carlisle, but no, I think like the teams come down. Obviously, they're an ambitious team. You can see by the work they're doing in the transfer market, the calibre of manager they've got in terms of experience, and they're coming down with the idea that they're going to go straight back up, and brilliant. And I think they are one of the favourites on paper, but sometimes it takes time to settle in a new environment, in a new division, and probably with lots of new players, it might be a good time to play. But just forgetting the performance perspective, just an exciting day. I'm sure they'll bring a big crowd because it's their first game in a new division. They've had some tough years, and they'll be looking at this being a year where they can have a real positive season. So it will be great to host them. We'll be ready, and it'll be a really early gauge of where we're at. So I'm excited to play them, and looking at all the fixtures in August, I think for different reasons, there's some really good fixtures in there. And certainly by the end of August, we'll have a bit of an idea of what kind of team we are.
Thank you, Jody. We'll speak soon.
No worries.